Folks, welcome into brand new episode, the Crowd Assist Podcast, bye-week Blues edition. You saw it on the graphic at the beginning of this. I miss Josh Allen already, and it's not even fucking Sunday yet. Wake here with Jake Micah, as always, and crazy, Degenerate Al and I never get on a show together ever, and it takes a bye week for that to finally happen. We can never talk a Bills game day together, I guess, because you're always partying down at Rec Room. Degenerate Al, thanks for being here, man. 5-1 start to the season. I mean, like, can you imagine a better situation heading into this bye week right now?
I mean, guys, our quarterback is a star. He's an absolute star. I mean, he's taking pictures in the San Diego Padres executive suite yesterday.
He's got that hat tilt. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor Hoffman standing next to him, posting on his own personals. Like, it's just, we've never had this in our lifetimes, right, guys? Like, it's just such a cool feeling. And the bye week, honestly, it's early this year, but couldn't have came at a better time for the Buffalo Bills.
No, couldn't agree more. And Micah, I'm not going to let you jump in. I saw you start to open your mouth there a little bit, but he started with Josh Allen, and that's a perfect segue to get into another edition of 4 Facts, 1 Fiction. And this segment and all segments on the Crowd Assist Podcast brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. What's your outlet? So I got Degenerate Al. In case you don't know, last week we debuted this new segment. I'm going to give you 4 real stats and 1 fake one. This week, they all revolve around Josh Allen, and it is your 2 jobs to get down to business and figure out which one is fake. So the first one, Josh Allen's current interception percentage would tie a career low if the season ended today. Micah, initial reactions to this possibly real statistic.
I feel like, oh man, I feel like you threw that could be false right there. I feel like that could be it, but I don't know, because he has a couple picks. Like it's not like it's been clean. What do you think, Al?
I lean fact right away.
Okay.
I do. I would say fact.
All right. Next one. If NFL seasons were still 16 games, Josh would still be on pace to break Peyton Manning's passing yards record.
Yeah. What is he on pace for right now? Like 5,700 yards, 5,800 yards, something like that?
Stupid.
It's ridiculous.
Right? I mean, what was the stat we were seeing this week? He's like over 250 yards to the next closest person. He hasn't played 2 quarters in the regular season. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Fact.
Speaking of this, you remember like you talking about like we never had this, like just waiting for a 300-yard game from a quarterback. It's like maybe this will be maybe Toronto will break a couple long passes, and now it's just like effortless.
Can you believe that?
No, yeah. I remember a few years ago I got in a Twitter fight with Jeremy White about how a lot of 300-yard games come because a bad quarterback is trailing. Which is true. That's definitely true. But we're years beyond that right now. Next one, Josh has already passed for more first downs than he did in his rookie year.
Wow. I'm going to say that one seems too juicy to be fiction for you to put in there.
I was thinking the same thing, bro. That's crazy. 6 games.
I can't wait to hear what the number is whenever we get that, whatever it turns out to be, because
I mean, I want to say facts for all of these.
Well, the next one's kind of on the same vein here. Josh Allen already has more completed air yards than he did in his rookie year. So at least one of those is true, for sure.
What did he have his rookie year? Wow.
Air yards, yeah.
All right. I want to lean this one to be false.
One more, right?
Yeah, one more.
Josh Allen is undefeated coming out of the bye week.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Fact.
Yeah, I knew that one. Yeah.
All right.
That's
so
crazy.
we'll I'll get them all up here for you guys so you guys can make a final decision. Maybe you can go one by one? Is there one you guys can rule out right now saying that it's definitely true?
I think the bye week.
Yeah, I think that one as well.
Because McDermott's undefeated. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the easy one. That's the easy one. That no lie, that was the last one I threw in here. So
yep.
So next one. What one would you rule out next if you could?
I mean, Micah, would you say
I think the 16 games.
I agree.
He's definitely on pace for that.
Yep.
To be honest, jumping ahead though, I think it's the first one. I think the first one's a fiction. I don't know about you, Al. That's my belief. I don't think it's his career low. I think he's been a little bit too high. Maybe it's like a small percentage point. Because last week the fiction Wake got at me. It was like, were the Chiefs and Bills the bottom two in punts, right? And the Chiefs were third. Like they were right there, barely punting, but just outside of the range. So I feel like it's going to be just outside of the interception percentage.
You're probably right. I mean,
All right, guys, I hate to tell you, the 16 games is the fiction. It is the fiction. He is currently on with 330 yards per game. He is currently on pace for 5,280 passing yards in 16 games. Peyton Manning's single season record, right? 4,000 or 5,477.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got you.
I thought
wow,
Josh,
you got us bad.
Yeah, you did.
Man.
I was thinking that I saw Josh at like 5,800 for the 17. So I was like, okay, take like 270 off that, something. He's at 5,500 and it would be ahead of Peyton. Damn.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, but yeah, no, the numbers, you were right. The first downs, way too juicy. He is currently passed for, I have the Pro Football Reference up here. Where the hell did you go, you asshole? He currently has 96 passing first downs compared to 89 in 12 games as a rookie, and completed air yards. It's close, but he's just 16 air yards ahead of where he was his rookie year through 12 games, 6 games this year. So there was the one clip that that people were putting out on Twitter of the Green Bay Packers game from his rookie year, where he just looked like a lost little kitten on the streets of New York City trying to avoid cars. And he has come such a long way. I think that game itself, seeing it back, that alone shows how far this guy has come. And he is somehow, you could argue that Von Miller is still the MVP of this team potentially. Like this whole season, we've said you get Von Miller to play against the Chiefs. It's all you heard any media pundit or podcaster say all of last week. Al, like, how big has that impact been without beating a dead horse into freaking submission right now?
And like you said, it's not even just on the field; it's off the field too. He's just completely changed the locker room and their whole tactic of domination and just seek and destroy and crushing teams. And like they want to put that 13 seconds into oblivion. Like, right, guys, they don't want to ever hear about that again. They are absolutely pummeling teams. Obviously, didn't happen in Kansas City, but he was one of the main reasons why they won that game. And from an MVP perspective, Josh Allen's the favorite right now, clearly, and it just drives me nuts that in New York State you couldn't bet on that. You can't bet on MVP. I could have went to the creek and bet on, say, Josh Allen over under yards.
Sure,
but you can't bet on MVP. Whether it's
so strange.
It's crazy. It's the same thing as the stupid. You can't bet on UB, Syracuse, Canisius, all that stuff. New York colleges, but it's just Wait, I mean, we got multiple MVPs on this squad.
Yeah, no, we do, and maybe some unsung heroes too, Micah. We've seen a lot that we've all offseason. We said that this is the deepest team in the NFL, and then week 1 comes around, and we're like, well, God damn it, we're gonna have to prove it right away, aren't we? And they have. Who do you think we can credit this success of this football team to, outside of the Diggs, the Davises, the Allens, the Millers, who are maybe underappreciating right now?
I'm going to stay right on the defensive line and just give so much credit to Daquan Jones, who has helped immensely with the run defense and the run game. I mean, this is a team basically since Sean McDermott took over that has been susceptible to letting up huge rushing games. I mean, I think we can all think back like at least one game a season where they just got torched on the ground. And I don't think that that's going to be possible this year. And they've just looked so much more stout in there. Greg Rousseau, we have to mention his name as well, just because he's a budding star. And it's just like, I wonder I think if you go to, I haven't checked the pass rush win rate this week, but he was second going into last week. And I'm pretty sure he had a solid week last week. And Vaughn, by the way, was 13th and definitely upped his stats a little bit there. But yeah, just that defensive line in general has been like, I think we talked about so many times before the season, was going to be the strength of this defense and what they really leaned on. And Daquan Jones has been so huge in that. Maybe not as much in the pass pressure game like Phillips and Oliver have been able to do from the inside, but in that run game, just solidifying that middle and allowing those ends to go out there and those linebackers. And I mean, I feel like we've seen Milano and Edmonds be able to come up and make way more plays at the line of scrimmage in the backfield this year. And I feel like that's a big part because of Daquan Jones.
Yeah, you say Daquan Jones, and I'm on ESPN right now. They have the top pass rush win rates right now. He is 9th overall for defensive tackles. It's 16%. And as people were more excited about Tim Settle than this guy. And Tim Settle is still a good dude. He's contributing to the first top 10 run defense that Sean McDermott's ever had in Buffalo. But Daquan Jones, man, that's nuts. And I'm happy you didn't say the cornerbacks because, I feel like that's been almost the entire focus of this season so far. And now we come back next weekend, Tre'Davious White. This is already a historic, almost level defense. And with Trey White coming back,
I don't even know what to expect.
Teams.
I don't even know what to expect.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But here's the deal. The Bills haters were saying after this Chiefs win that you did it without the Chiefs cornerbacks. Well, you did it. We won that game without Trey White and Micah Hyde. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm so sick of that standard. Okay, stop talking about that. The biggest thing that happened this weekend in Kansas City is that we control our own destiny now for the 1 seed. Sean McDermott is undefeated in the playoffs at home, and he's lost every game on the road. That's the flip factor right now, guys.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. I don't give a shit about injuries. We're getting Trey White back. We're getting better, and hopefully we don't have to play Kansas City in the playoffs. Yeah. But if we do, they're not resting at home in Kansas City. They're coming to Orchard Park for the biggest round 2 matchup.
And Mahomes has never been in Buffalo. I mean, he was in Buffalo with no fans.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's never even had to come into that environment. And speaking of that, on the flip side, Mahomes never even played a playoff game outside of Arrowhead. Dude's never went on the road once in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a complete 180 going on the road and winning in an environment, and especially an environment that we know that Orchard Park would be for a Chiefs Bills playoff game. I mean, I don't even know
that. Guys, that's the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean, if we were the Chiefs last year or Bengals, whatever, we win that game. We win that Super Bowl, and I think it's the same thing this year, right? I really do. I feel like the AFC, whoever gets there, Bills or Chiefs, is going to win the damn thing. So
yeah, I mean, you could make an argument for the Eagles just because there's so much unknown. But
it's Hurts, and then we can get into the rest of the NFL here a little bit then too. But the thing about Hurts is that who has he really been what kind of situation has he really been in this year against a top flight team? They have a pretty easy schedule. Their closest game was that game at Arizona, which doesn't look like a good close win at this point, even in Arizona. And it was a lot of Philly fans in there too. And that's the biggest thing about Hurts is when he's off schedule and when he's off and he's getting pressured in the pocket and they are able to keep him in the pocket, which the Bills did a wonderful job against Patrick Mahomes last week, keeping him in the pocket. And even when he was dancing around, just having guys available to get there, Hurts is not going to be able to do those types of things against the Bills. And then you look at the rest of that NFC. I mean, the second best teams in there, the Giants and the Vikings. Do we really? Is anybody expecting Daniel Jones or Kirk Cousins to beat the Bills?
Cousins. Oh my God. If we could go against Kirk Cousins in the playoffs, that would be fantastic. A guy like Jalen Hurts, we saw Matt Milano playing QB spy for most of that game, or at least the second half of the game. I'm not worried about multiple quarterbacks against this defense anymore.
I'm not either. No way.
No way. I am much more worried about really precision passers like Mahomes who can get the ball out in under a second and a half before the defense really has a chance to, take hold and get him off script, because that.
I don't know if I'm worried about any quarterback.
I'm not really. I don't know it's because this defense is probably what we saw last week, potentially the worst that it will be the rest of the season. Coming back to the Trey White point, the landscape of the NFC, it is incredible how much it has just completely flipped to what everybody thought it was going to be. Everybody thought it was going to be the Bucks, the Packers, the Rams, and everybody else.
Yep.
And there's a realistic scenario where all three of those teams miss the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
not saying that's going to happen, but it's realistic.
I know. I just look at the Super Bowl odds right now, and yeah, it obviously goes Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, and then the next three are Bucks, Vikings, Niners.
Bro.
Jimmy, there's three Kirk Cousins, isn't? No, two.
There
Kirk
was
Cousins, between Jimmy G and Kirk. Yeah,
a report from the guy plugged in with the Niners today, though, that the Niners might be the leading favorite for Christian McCaffrey, which would change, I think, the trajectory of the San Francisco 49ers, but still not a team that strikes too much fear.
No.
That's actually something to talk about. Al, what were you going to say? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to bring up, like, in the beginning of the year, I was a big, from an NFC perspective, I was a big Bucs guy. I thought their defense was loaded. I thought with Brady coming back, he wouldn't come back if they couldn't at least compete and go back to the Super Bowl, if not the NFC Championship. The Bucs, when they won, a couple years ago now, they were 6-5, right, guys? So, like, it's weird, like, do I want to write off some of these NFC teams? And I'm not saying better than the Bills. I'm just talking, like, to be better than what they are now.
A contender,
Because what we're seeing out of the Bucs right now, we got Tom Brady, who's not even like flying with the team. He's going to Robert Kraft's wedding. It's just a very weird situation in Tampa Bay, guys. It's just like, I don't get it. And then like the Packers, they now have the fifth best odds in the NFC. Like it's just it's weird. It's just I don't know. One of these teams I feel like is gonna flip. Like obviously there are a lot of struggling teams in the NFC, but one of them I feel like is gonna flip and be a better team to at least compete for the NFC Championship.
Definitely.
If I were to put my money on one of them, I would probably say it's the Rams. I mean, we knew Matt Stafford wasn't completely healthy. I imagine coming out of whenever their bye week is, now they're moving on from Cam Akers. They can fully focus on Darrell Henderson being in that backfield and not having to worry about, I got this other guy who's kind of shitty breathing down my neck. Like, I think that offense is going to start to find its identity just a little bit more. And a lot of that's going to be Matt Stafford healing from that arm injury that he's had for most of the season. I mainly say that as someone who traded Justin Jefferson for Matt Stafford, Allen Robinson, and Elijah Mitchell in a fantasy league, and one of those people is out for the season, and the other two just flat out stink. So maybe wishful thinking. But the idea of getting Christian McCaffrey, I wouldn't send a single first-round pick for it. And they're asking for reportedly at least one. I've heard multiple from pretty much every single reporter with any.
There's no way, though, going back to the Niners piece, there's no way the Niners are trading another future first-round pick after what they gave up for Lance to go get a running back either. So that I feel like those talks have got to come down. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what is we had the poll out on the cap earlier last week when these rumors started to come out, and it was a shocking number of people that basically said, no, I'd rather not trade for him than give up a single first round pick. And usually when people are talking star power, like people are saying they'll drop anything to sign OBJ, which the Bills should. But as far as McCaffrey goes, like I hate bringing injury history into this, but I'm not trading for a guy who's missed almost 2 full seasons in the NFL. I'm not trading a first for that. Look at all the contracts we have coming up, Josh Allen is, he's underpaid right now as far as quarterbacks go. And we're already lucky to have that bargain there. Dawson Knox gets his extension. There's going to be more on the horizon with all the young talent. And we kind of got to keep bringing that in and churning it out. Giving up first round picks is not the whole, like you can see, the Rams kind of proved us wrong, maybe for what I'm about to say, but just constantly trading your early picks is not a sustainable formula for success in the NFL. And Brandon Beane's too smart for that.
Yeah, especially a running back too.
Especially
as great as and the injury history has to be brought up because if he was fully healthy, it might be more of a conversation. I think that. I mean, they were willing to do it for Diggs, obviously, but that was a special case because Diggs was exactly what Josh Allen needed to get to this point and take that next step to help alleviate that pressure. But just the thought of McCaffrey in general, if it's second and third, whatever, second this year, third next year, whatever the combination would have to be besides a first round pick. There's, as much as I love Devin Singletary, that is just a talent that Josh Allen has never had as an outlet and as a running back, and obviously has never had. The Bills, I mean, maybe Shady was like the closest thing to it that the Bills have had since Thurman as a guy like that that can affect the game. And McCaffrey would be asked to do so much less than he's ever had to do in this offense too. That's really what excites me about it is McCaffrey. I mean, if they trade for McCaffrey and sign OBJ, which I don't know if they could do both, but I know they could convert McCaffrey's salary and save some cap right when they traded for him and everything. I mean, just think of the skill guys that are on the field at the same time. You got a 3-wide set and have McCaffrey in the backfield with Allen. Like that's terrifying, man. That's terrifying for anybody else in the league.
It is, but I'm going to bring up Wake's point, the injuries, and two, the money, right, guys?
Yeah.
Like Josh Allen should single-handedly be able to make any running back better. Do you remember the offenses that we used to have with Losman and friggin' Trent Edwards and Kyle Warren and defense?
I live to forget.
Defenses would literally be 8 in the box on us. Like we have a quarterback that we should be like Josh Allen should make any running back who's in our system better. So, right? I don't know. There's just
well, that's why I think Singletary, everybody is so like locked on to Singletary because he's the only one that really grabs that ball, like not to make a bad pun here, but grabs the ball and goes with it because they've given the opportunities to Moss and he just has never taken advantage of it. They gave the opportunities to Yeldon last year. He didn't take advantage of it. The sparing parts we've seen they clearly don't trust Cook yet, like at all. Like they have not put him really in any game of significance. I guess him getting the start over, or not the start, but the activation last week over Moss is a sign, but it could have just been just the way they wanted to run that offense the whole day more than anything else. But it's been Singletary or bust at this point, and it doesn't. I love Singletary, and I think he's a solid, very good running back in the league. But it's like you said, it's Josh Allen that's helping him get the stats and get him at the level of notoriety that he's at around the league. Because you talk to fans from other teams, like they're always putting Singletary in daily fantasies. You know, guys are drafting him higher than he should be in fantasy drafts and stuff like that. And it's not because of watching Devin Singletary pop off the screen. It's because he's on an offense with Josh Allen.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's something that kind of puzzles me because Josh Allen is like he is our goal line back. Right? Like he's our goal line running back. He always kind of has been. As an avid fantasy player, I love doing the DFS on FanDuel. Singletary's always been someone that being in Buffalo, I know to kind of stay away from unless, time goes on and the salary gets lower and I see that it's a value. He's good for what he is. And I think that I remember a few years ago when he came out, I was excited about him because back in college, he was just great at making people miss in space. And that's something that we've kind of been missing from him for a really long time. It's not something that translated to the NFL, at least immediately. And you see, 4 catches for 22 yards, not crazy, but he was making guys miss on those catches, like multiple guys on the same play. So he's finally starting to look like the running back that I think that he could have been a few years ago. Possibly a little too late because who knows what his future looks like in Buffalo now. Obviously, James Cook, the rookie, who, there's one takeaway from the Chiefs game that's kind of a negative, but spinning it into what this team could look like down the road. It's that James Cook should be replacing Isaiah McKenzie in most situations, specifically on that play where he just wasn't looking at the football. Like that's a situation where you have James Cook in the backfield and get that into his hands in space because he could have gone 15 yards with that. McKenzie, I'd probably give 10 with it. I think that we've only scratched the surface of what James Cook can be in this offense. And Al, are you at all disappointed? Is it something you expected? A lot of people were kind of expecting him to come in here and possibly be an offensive rookie of the year candidate. But I think that we kind of just got excited about having a shiny new toy.
I agree with you, Wake, 100%. And plus what? A couple early turnovers. And he immediately in the
doghouse right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill Belichick doghouse, yes.
Immediately to the sideline. He's not going to be getting a lot of touches. I'm indifferent. It doesn't really bug me that much because look at how good we are, guys. I'm not even thinking about it, Jake. It doesn't even really cross. You're both freaking Jake. Jesus. But you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really cross my mind that much.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, you bring up putting him in that scatter position that McKenzie basically runs in the offense, and I do envision that for him. But they had him running routes in the preseason and training camp and everything, and we just haven't seen that. I don't know if that's idea where they're like, we're going to do that later in the season. That's a level to the offense that they're waiting to unleash, or they just really don't trust the guy. And I lean towards not trusting him, but seeing him, like I said, seeing him get activated against Kansas City rather than Moss was a big step, I think, to know where he stands. Like that was clearly the biggest game of the season, going to be the biggest game of the season the whole way. And they didn't put Zach Moss on the field. Like that's telling all in itself, but there's definitely a role that they have not carved out for him that he should be able to have on this offense. But yeah, do I think about it a lot? Not really, man. Like I'm not too worried about it. Maybe that'll be something that is like my biggest thing I worry about going into training camp next year is what does James Cook look like, especially because this running back situation, that is going to be one of the biggest question marks in the offseason with Singletary's contract situation and everything else. But we'll see. I think he's that there's still a lot of potential out there, but McDermott's not going to let a rookie mess things up. Like he's clearly shown us that throughout the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, no, I think based on years and years of, healthy scratches and inactives, we know that he values experience over talent at times. If there's one thing we learned from Matt Breida being active, a lot over his course as his career as a Bill, McDermott values that veteran leadership on the sidelines and on the field.
Sending Micah Hyde to catch punts basically in situations where he needs to, like things like that. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Now, one thing we haven't talked about, you say you're not thinking about James Cook a lot right now, not too worried about it. Are we not too worried about the Jets? Are they frisky? Are they bad frisky? Like what's the feeling of us with the guys over there on New Jersey?
The Jets might keep the Bills like under 30 because their defense is nasty. That's really the only thing that I could think of, but they're still employing Zach Wilson at the quarterback position, who they're basically not letting Zach Wilson throw the ball. Like Saleh has built a 2002 offense of running Breece Hall and Michael Carter into the ground and shutting you down with their defense. That's been a lot of teams in the league this year, though. I mean, the pace has gone down a lot for a lot of these teams. But overall, I mean, the Jets I could see the Jets, the way this AFC looks, I could see them sneaking a wild card and getting the way out. I think they have a ton of talent. I thought that going into the year, don't know how it's going to turn out. Obviously, when you're going in with young teams, they're a feisty group, but
they're feisty.
They're not going to be able to keep up. Like Zach Wilson is not going to be able to make plays even close. Exactly. Al, you feel very strongly about this.
I mean, dude, look at I hate to bring up the schedules, but what you beat Miami with a third stringer. You beat Pittsburgh.
You beat the Packers, who we think stink now.
And the New Jersey Giants and Jets won against the Packers in back-to-back weeks. That's insane. No one can predict that. Their two losses are to two very good, or not, I shouldn't say very good, but two the better teams in the North, and that's the Ravens and that's the Bengals. So I don't know.
I'm very interested in that Bronco. They go to Denver this week, and Denver obviously has had a bunch of issues of their own. But that's going to be really telling for the Jets. If they can go in and handle a bad Broncos team on the road, tells me a lot more. If they go in and it's a close game and the Broncos even, control that game, then it's going to be like, okay, we know what this team is. Like they can get up for some of these matchups, but this is who they really are.
I'll say if the Jets win by a touchdown, I'll be impressed.
Yeah.
I would say that, a one-score game, but like something, but a full 7 points, that would be genuinely impressive, especially with how you see that Broncos defense, like they've been wasting away for years and years and years. And Von Miller leaves to go to the Rams, and they're still super good. Patrick Surtain II is like one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
Yep.
Like Herbert was not even looking Mike Williams' way. He wasn't sniffing at Mike Williams because Surtain was lining up opposite side of him. And the Jets aren't using their best receiver either in Elijah Moore, coming off of a week with 0 targets last week. The week before, he's on my 5-1 fantasy team somehow. I drafted him in the 5th round. Godspeed. They're not using their best players. And I think finally, Breece Hall and Michael Carter, they give me vibes of the Bills when Sean McDermott was here and in his first year. Good overachieving defense, iffy offense that is not bad enough to lose you games. And that's exactly what they are. Like they'll probably lose if they make the wild card. They'll probably lose 20-3, 17-3, something dumb like that, like the Bills did. But
I cannot believe we're talking about the Jets in the playoffs in the same sentence. Like
I know.
before the season started, I mean,
GIF. Yeah,
their win total in Vegas was like 4.5. Like
they're already almost there. Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith.
It's just the state of the AFC. I mean, you've got the North is destroying itself, and honestly, the Bengals and Ravens have issues of their own that they got to deal with. But I mean, no, we thought this AFC was going to be loaded, and all these teams were going to be, dominating the lower seed teams and dominating the NFC, and it just has not turned out that way at all. And so, the Jets have been able to sneak out those wins. But would you be surprised if the Jets end up 6-11? Because I wouldn't be surprised by that either. 7-10, like, wouldn't be shocked.
I know we're going to get out of here in a couple minutes. There's a realistic possibility the Bills go 16-1 right now. The schedule really eases up after the bye week, and that feels ridiculous to say. But there's no easy bona fide win in the NFL. They're all pros, all that bullshit that people have to say all the time. Go around the room. If there's one game you can see the Bills losing through the rest of the season, one game to derail them, what would it be?
Weeks 18, when Case Keenum throws 3 picks against the Bailey Zappi-led Patriots at home. Bailey Zappi's biggest win of his career.
Love that.
That's where I'm at. I think that I picked 15-2 before the year, and I think that still rings true. Real answer, though, I think that Minnesota game is sneaky just because of the talent they have at receiver, but Kirk Cousins on the road also. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Al?
Cincy on the road?
Yeah. That could be a desperation moment for Cincy if they're battling for the division or
But it could be
like
for
that.
both of us, though. We might need that
true.
for the 1 seed, right? Like,
It's true.
It's tough. I mean, it's so crazy to think, looking at the schedule, that we're gonna potentially, as Bills fans, see 15 to 20 point spreads.
Yeah.
It's a real thing,
and they might cover.
Yeah,
that Lions spread, the way that defense has been playing this year on Thanksgiving, that game.
Bet the over, no matter what. Just bet the over.
I mean, that's going to be a ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's going to be a ridiculous number.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm going to say any game, and I say it because it's my birthday game this year, and I'm not on Long Island for it, I'm going to say the road game against the Jets. I honestly will. I think it's a fans factor more than the team itself. I think Robert Saleh is familiar enough with McDermott to be able to game plan better than any other coach, maybe other than McDermott on the schedule. And I honestly think the Jets are more talented than the Patriots too. So I don't like saying it, but I do believe there's a chance the Jets could upset us in their own building. In New Jersey.
It would have to be like 5 turn. It would have to be like 3 Josh Allen
it would be a slop. I say it because there's always
punt.
shitty weather by my birthday too, and that's exactly what it would be.
Yeah.
But I know
at the beginning of the year we would have probably said Green Bay.
Oh my God, easily.
Definitely.
Yeah,
right?
no, we wouldn't have even hesitated.
And now, like, it's just weird. We're just like, we're not even scared of Green Bay. Like,
I mean, what is Green Bay offensively looking quick ahead to next week? What are they going to do offensively against the Bills?
I know. Listen,
they can't. I mean,
it's just
crazy.
But
No, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers getting mad at rookie receivers for dropping balls. AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones not being able to get anything going against McDermott's first top 10 run defense in his career with the Buffalo Bills.
Amazing,
guys. It is an exciting time to be a fan. 5-1 going into the bye week. Would have taken it no matter who you say the loss is against. Don't care that it's against the Dolphins. Don't.
I had to argue.
I don't. Yeah, I can care less anymore. Yep.
A 2-point loss to the Dolphins. Oh, fuck me. Okay, whatever. Yep. Al, thanks for joining us here tonight. It is a pleasure to have you on the Crowd Assist podcast. We should do this more often, my friend.
No, seriously, this is a lot of fun. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. And thank you, 43 North. They got their finals going on tonight. It's streaming live on their YouTube page. So Maniac is there. Stay tuned at Zach Sheldon on Twitter. But if you want to,
and check out his suit.
Oh, and check out his suit. Oh my God.
And one last take.
Yeah.
A hot one.
Oh boy.
Cowboys NFC.
You just
10-1 odds.
You just deflated this entire podcast.
How perfect!
Wow.
That's my last take. That's it.
It's going to be an NFC East team. It's going to be an NFC East team.
And it's not the Giants.
It's either the Eagles completing the cycle or the Cowboys once again. I'm with you there, Al.
Dude. When I look from a value perspective, 10
Oh,
to
it's a
1.
great value.
Well, I
10 to
mean,
1.
Dalton
and the thing
Schultz
is-
and Dak Prescott coming back at the same time.
Yeah, if
that
Dak comes
defense.
back and looks normal, like they're back to being one of the favorites. Dak played terrible in one game against a defense that we know is incredible this year. So I think the Cowboys
Yeah.
are still, high ceiling.
All right, guys.
I'm still deflated. Thanks for that, Al.
sorry,
Thank you,
sorry.
Outlet, here for myself, Jake, Micah, all of Trainwreck Sports and 43 North. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and good night.